Yeah. So the whole secondhand thing started, it goes back to really like 95, 96. 95, 96. I met Blizz and the homie Show. Shout out to Show. Show's locked up. He's been locked up for a minute now.
I rhymed before I knew him. You know what I'm saying? But once we formed this clique, we had a crew called Capital Corruption. And that's when we started making songs and just like battling other crews around the place and just doing our thing. And it started from that.
We spelt it with 2 Ks. And so, you know, we did a bunch of mixtapes as kids. I was like 14, 15 when I met him. We started going in heavy. We had we was recording on 4-track. We'd be recording at Show's house. You know, we'd be doing like a lot of just rhymes over instrumentals. We didn't really have like producers rocking with us like that heavy.
Other people was at the club spending money doing that Friday nights. We was all chipping in on D batteries. Instrumental tapes in the boombox, drinking beers in the park, freestyling for 9-10 hours. That's why we're dope with it.
It was the 90s, so we was in it, and we was down here, so like, how could I be down? Just started getting down out here, and so there was a lane.
Wow. We used to just go to every party, everywhere. Like him formed the group Natural Disasters. He was Avalanche, I was Blizzard. And you see the Blizzard, that stuck with me forever, so.
So this was pre-Addict?
This is, yeah, way pre-Addict. I don't even think I knew Menace when I was rhyming with Jay.
I met Blizz first, like, I said like 2002, he was my engineer. He was like my first real deal engineer. Blizz is engineering for me. Don't tell nobody. He taught me how to count bars. When I first started doing music, I was just like off the street, just rapping. I just had a bunch of lyrics, bunch of stories and shit like that. He just showed me how to format music, and I just started fucking with him. Like, we just started hanging and shit. At the time, Blizz, Menace, they were the Addicts. They still the Addicts. They was the only motherfuckers who had a song with Snoop. They had a single out with Snoop back then. And they was from Palm Beach County, so they was like the biggest thing. Like from here, they had the biggest feature, they had the biggest song, you know what I'm saying? So I already knew of him, I already knew of Menace, I already knew of the whole, you know, they whole movement, I already knew of that. So being from the same city and having a song with Snoop, like that was like crazy. Snoop said from Long Beach to Palm Beach on the song, so it was like, this shit was official, you know what I mean? We had a cypher at Blizz's house. I remember we had a cypher at Blizz's house and everybody came through with bars. Blizz was just like, come through, we're gonna have a cypher, we finna drink. And that's how it was. I met Av, he was going hard. You know what I'm saying? He was going hard, he was a beast with that shit.
Fast forward to like 2008. I had moved back down here from Boston. I just got done. I was in the Funky Bunch. They were trying to come back out. I had rewrote this album. It never got released. I was doing a bunch of other musical endeavors, like hip-hop things, you know. And I got up with my mans, with Blizz, and he's like, yo, we should form something other than Capital Corruption. So we came up somehow, you know, the idea was always like the music that we doing is always timeless. You know, it was always on that, like, you could hear this shit, and just, so it was like, yo, what about Secondhand? Capital Corruption, we used to call it Double K or Dub K. So we did the Secondhand, we spelt it Sekkond to still rep that, you know, because that was our youth, that's where we got started at. But it was something that, like, really, this music, we weren't pushing it. I think, you know, there was definitely other things in my life going on where, as much as I wanted to tell, that's my brother, like Blizz is my brother, but as much as I wanted to tell him, you know, I was 100%, I really wasn't 100%, you know what I'm saying? I had things going on, you know, as far as addiction and shit like that, it really definitely, as much as I'd like to sit here and tell you it did, and it did. It became my #1 priority, because you gotta remember, at that time, South Florida was home of the pill mill. There was a time when I was selling perp 30s real heavy, and then there became a time, a couple years later, that I was just doing them real heavy.
He's a grown ass fucking man. If he was fucking up, I'd just step back. And then when he called me, I'd speak to him, be like, dog, I see what you're doing, man. You alright? You good? And that's the other shit where we spoke about it like men and shit. But never fuck with us musically. You know what I mean? You know, when he was getting fucked up and trying to keep it on the low, he would come to the crib and we'd write joints, lay him down, peace. You know, always kept it music.
I know he seen me fucked up. I know he seen me on some shit. But either way, we still always doing music. That's my brother, so he like, you know, I know he had his thoughts about what was happening with me. Because I grew up with Spliff up in Newport, where I'm from, Newport, Rhode Island.
How long you known Av?
Man, 18, 19 years or something like that.
I met Spliff in '99, and so like, he was like the big homie in the neighborhood. He always was doing shit, he was rapping back then and making music.
Started off as a rapper, and then but then I couldn't really get the sound I was looking for. So like my third or fourth song, I made my own beat, you know what I mean? And then I stuck with the rapping for a couple of years. I was signed with Interscope in 2000 as an artist, but nothing really came out of that. I wasn't really feeling that process. So I got out of that situation as quick as I could.
And then I think, you know, there was a time that he just detoured to just solely just producing music.
I just fell in love with producing more of them. I just felt there was more longevity.
I always showed him my music along the years.
I don't know if he was recording a record or if they just recorded it, and I heard it and I thought it was dope. But then I heard some stuff he was working on, he had done down here, I guess, with some people, and man, that shit was fire. He had some hot ass music. And it was just like, I don't know, he was just a cool dude, and we had the same homies, and you know what I mean, just ever since we first met, we was just always cool, you know what I'm saying? And I thought he was a dope artist, and we always meant to work with each other, but we never really did until recently. I think that happens with a lot of people, especially where we're from, because everybody's a musician basically, and like everybody's a fucking artist out there, and they're all dope. You know what I'm saying? So it's like your whole life you're like, yo, we gotta do a song, and like you never do it, and then here it is 15 years later, and it's like, oh shit, we didn't even do a song yet in 15 years.
And I'm a firm believer in God's timing. You know, it's crazy how things went full circle. You know, I remember bringing the mixtapes up to Boston, or I bring them up to Rhode Island. I'm playing for the homies up there. Anybody who ever heard these shits was just like, yo, that right there is killing everything you did. Everything that you've been doing, that secondhand shit is dope. Who's the other dude with you? What y'all doing? Like, what's up with that? So I always knew there was something there. Plus, I mean, we just always, that's my brother, you know, and so we was just, the vibe's always been there, but the music's always been dope.
Yeah, he's funny. I like him. He's a funny guy, and he's a dope artist. I kind of was. He's been on my radar for about a year now, probably. I think he's dope. I think he's slept on, obviously. So hopefully this project could do something about that. You know,
It's like it's meant to be, bro. It's meant to be. We keep saying that to each other. The shit we'll just finish recording it. We're just laying back listening. You can see us both at the same time, kind of go. It's been a long time coming, bro. This shit sounds like everything we've ever been through. And
It's just crazy how we're able to get up and be like, yo, let's do this album for real though, you know. And
we were already starting to try to do stuff through the emails and all that, and then he was just like, you know what, we're out here. You know, you should just come out here. I'm gonna fucking fly you out here, make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's do it.
Spliff was producing, so I got to be there while he was making the beat from scratch and the whole process. First meeting him, cool ass dude, man. 'Cause he got stories for days about how to work with people, how to, you know, how to approach situations, how to put it down and be true to what you do, because, you know, like, I can't ask him to go make some stupid weird ass track. He gonna tell me straight up that ain't what he do. You know what I'm saying? He does what he do, and he came in, he laid down that shit was the foundation, and I was just like, that shit's solid. So like working with him, knowing his craft, knowing where he can take the shit, there you go. Like, we was there. Like, it took me probably 15 minutes to write my verse. I was in there.
the main thing I think doing the second half album that makes the shit dope as fuck is just the times, the history. We go in there and it's not like I mean, we trying to press each other. I'm trying to out-rap him on fucking everything, but there's no pressure to do music. We're just doing it because we fucking love to do it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what makes it. And we're in the same room. It ain't no sending files across the internet shit. We're here in the room putting it down together, and the vibes fucking love.
You know, we always was on this hip hop shit, this rapping shit, you know, this MC shit. So a lot of shit went full circle, and so that boom bap is like back, but it's back because there's a lane, because there's been a lot of garbage out there, as you know.
He's coming from a different perspective right now. There's a lot of godly talk in this thing. He's cleaned up and he's seeing life in a new light and all that. And he's like, damn, you know, I want to come from here. And I said, well, do it. Yin and the yang. You ever listen to Outkast? Them motherfuckers was never on the same page, and it was the dopest shit you ever heard. So I just be like, yo, rap about what you rap about. Rap as long as the topics are something we can both touch. It's just butter on the bread, man. It's in there.
When Blizz decides to do music, he does music. So it's not the beat, it's not whatever. It's like whatever beat you put on, he gonna write to it. He got ideas, he got a formula for something. Av is more chill. He gonna listen to it, he gonna analyze it, and then he gonna go crazy, and then you might have to catch up to him sometimes. Cause like when he go off, he go off. But with Blizz probably wrote, I'll say he probably wrote to like three, four songs while I was there, just going through tracks with Spliff, you know what I'm saying? But being there and being a part of that shit was dope. And two people been doing rap for X amount of years, still loyal to each other, still loyal to hip hop.
You know, prior to getting clean off of drugs and alcohol, you know, I had caught cancer in like 2009, and around 2012 I had open heart surgery. You know, 2013 I had a blood clot taken out of my leg. 2015 I had 2 more open heart surgeries. These are things that happened to me. So I had a lot of near death experiences, and it really, if anything, man, it created a full clip of ammo for me to put down. And really, like, because within all those experiences, other experiences happen. You know, there was a part of me, it was on some just like, you know, I'm a victim or something, which is the wackest thing I could say. But to be honest, it was like I played this card like, you know, it was real unmanly. Like, yo, I ain't feel good about me. You see what I'm saying? And I figured out for me, like I had some growing up to do in my 30s, which is crazy to say, but that's the truth. I had some fucking growing up to do. And thank God for that though, man, because God is so powerful in my life these days. Like I was able to recognize my faults and fix them. You know, because currently today I'm doing the best I've ever done. Anybody that's in my family, I see me, will tell you, Jamie's murking it right now.
I think every track I make is a new feeling. It's not like, oh, here we go again. Dumb out on the 16. You know what I mean? We don't have a lot of records where we just been going like, yo, I rap and I'm better than you at rapping on some real MC braggadocious shit. Like we've been trying to make life music. Old fucking men now, bro. I spit honesty rap in a sense, you know what I mean? Like coming from here, so whatever the topic is, I come from a new perspective and give it to them like, you know, just straight from how I feel about it.
I think if I had to pick one, it'd probably be the pass the information one. Just because it's got like a cool little feel. It reminds me of like a couple joints I really liked, like from back in the day.
That Secondhand shit is dope. That's all I can say. That Secondhand shit is dope. I'm fortunate to be on that album. It's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that shit. Shout outs to them. Shout outs to everybody who fucking with them. If they fucking with them, they fucking with me. If they ain't fucking with them, they just fucking around. That's how I feel.
I hate interviews, I just want to let you know this.
Blizz gonna be like, you didn't say totally in the whole interview.
I think like, you know,
Hey, you're doing a good job.
he's an asshole, man.
This might be the only time you see a real nigga wear wire. You feel me?